Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. I want to talk about this is a cultural thing that I've witnessed, and what it is the family staying. The children, as they grow, they don't leave the house. In the United States, it's kind of the thing where we prepare our kids to leave home at 18. When I was younger, like I say, I had my father died when I was about 3 years after we got married, so I really wasn't able to get all the understanding and figure out exactly why the American culture is like that. But the best I've been able to figure out is 18 to 21 years old is a very, very important time in a young man's life. Now, I don't know about young women. I never was a young woman, so I don't know. But I do know at 18, as a young man, like I say, we as parents have taught him how to be an adult. The age might be an adult, but the experience isn't. And so at 18 they need to get experience, and that's a good time to get it. They don't have any debt, at least they shouldn't. The parents should have already made sure that they didn't get a credit card and got themselves in debt already. But so they're starting at 18. Now my kids at 18, they already had their own vehicles, and they were junk vehicles, something they paid cash for, and they had at 18, it's their decision, and so now they can go on and go make a loan and get a nicer car, or they can figure out what it is they want to do. They're 18, and so in other words, at 18 you don't have the debt, the financial burden on you, and so the world is really open to you. If you think about it, as an adult, the reason you can't do so many things is because you have financial obligations. You have to pay rent, or house payment. You have to make car payments. There's so many things that demand money. Now at 18, you don't have that stuff, and so that's the time the world is open. You can do anything you want to do. For a young man, a military, I like the military in the way of it teaches you discipline. It teaches you patriotism. It teaches you to work with others. There's a lot of good things about it. I personally don't like the military because look at your not only commanding officer, but the #1 commanding officer is the President of the United States. So there's so much corruption. I don't like the idea of taking orders from corrupt people, and but other than that, the military is really a good thing. You learn a lot of good things. I say when I was in, I have access to multi-million-dollar equipment, so you're given responsibilities and you are expected to do these responsibilities. So that's the good thing about it. Another thing that's good at 18, and that's the oil, going into the oil business, going to the oil patch. If you ever been in an oil patch, you know what I'm talking about, man. These people are are out in the middle of nowhere. They're dirty, they're working hard, they get good money, and so if you're wise, you learn how to do something with that money. If you're not so wise, you're going to screw it up. But the time from 18 to 21 is your time to do screw-ups. In other words, your screw-ups more than likely aren't going to be that bad. If I would like to say if you were brought up properly, but that at 18 you make choices. So I really don't give a damn about how you were brought up. At 18 it's time for you to take the responsibility. You either if you were brought up bad, then it's your time to take control of yourself and do good with it. If you were brought up good, then you've already got an idea on what you're supposed to do, because right now it's all on your shoulders. And so this is where I talk about we all have crosses to bear. In other words, we all have hard times that we got. When you say, oh, when I was young, I say, I don't give a shit about none of that kind of stuff. At 18, nobody gives a damn about that shit. You take responsibility for yourself. So that's what makes 18 to 21 really, really good. Another option is going to college. Now, I went to college, but I just took the classes I wanted, and I was 40-some years old. I went to college to get smart. And but one thing that I've noticed is when they take 18-year-olds, 18 to 21, and they put them in college, you're not there to get smart. Really, it's a place where you can go and what we talk about. You've got a roof over your head. You got a bed, a dry bed to sleep in. You got food, and that's the same thing. The military, the oil patch, and college, they all have the same thing to offer in the way of that. Now, military maybe is not a roof over your head, but they do keep you fed. And the college, my experience has been they try to control you, and they teach you to do what you're told. And there's a difference between doing what you're told and discipline. The military and the oil patch is discipline. You learn discipline. But you also have to use your morals. And if you don't use your morals, there will be somebody around there that will stomp the shit out of you. And so morals is a big thing that you do learn in the oil patch and in the military. You really put your morals to the test. We all have morals, but we try to ignore them sometimes, or we try to build on them. We try to make them stronger and better, and this type of stuff. And but that's the one thing I don't see in college. When I was in college, they didn't really do too much about morals. They really don't. I tell you, they just don't give a damn, to tell you the truth. Nothing had anything to do with morals. And like I say, they tell you stuff, and to pass their class, you have to memorize this stuff. And some of the stuff is incorrect, but you still have to memorize it. In other words, some of the professors are really wackos, and so they're teaching you something, and they're not going to let you pass the class unless you go along with it. So in other words, what they're teaching you is you don't use your morals, because when you use your morals, you don't do things that are incorrect. I mean, you just don't do it. I mean, that's why you got morals. But in college, they want you to set your morals off to the side and go on and do this stuff even though it's incorrect. Learn this stuff even though it's wrong. And so I'm not a big college guy from 18 to 21. Now, once you get older, then if you choose to go to college, that'd be another story. But at 18 to 21, you change a lot as a young man. Okay, now, what they do down here, I think Europe. I haven't been to Europe, so I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's kind of like that in Europe. You stay close to the house. Like I say, you're born, you're raised, you're right there in the house. It's your mom and dad's house, and then when your mom and dad dies, it's your house. Okay, what I've learned, I couldn't figure out why the people down here aren't motivated to do things. And then it dawned on me there's nothing there to motivate them. They got a home to go to. They're going to have food for them, so they don't want you to leave home. They want you to stay home. And so when you're like that, well, there's nothing to make you do something very unique with your life. There's nothing to motivate you to look for the horizons, what's on the other side. There's nothing there. And I already made a video about some stupid things that a woman would say to ruin a relationship, and it's really apparent down here. Like I said, in Guatemala everything is obvious, and it's really obvious down here. Their divorce rates are just going crazy, and the funny thing is they do exactly what I said on women saying stupid things, and that is they say, my children mean everything to me. And that is such an insulting statement when you say it to your husband. And each time you say it, you're driving a stake into him, and it really hurts. And they say it a lot. And the idea is the woman wants the house, and she wants her children to stay right there with her. So, and when you're like that, in other words, it's probably the same with a girl. I don't know for sure, but I do know for a boy, for a man, 18 years old, 18 to 21 years old, and you still got mama's tit stuck in your mouth. In other words, you've got she's doing your laundry, she's cooking your food for you, you got a place to stay, and all this kind of stuff. Well, you got to go home all the time, you know. That's why they have these auto hotels, you know. So you take your girlfriend over to there, but you can't take them home, you know. So, you know, it's just this weird type of mindset that they've done to these young people. And so there's no motivation. There's no motivation for the husband well, let me stay here with you, sweetie pie. I love you. You know, we raised the kids, and now it's just me and you forever and ever. No, it's not. My kids mean more to me than anything. Okay, see, there goes another spike in the guy. So here the man is trying to find out what he's going to do in the next part of his life. This first part, he's already raised children. I mean, he's worked hard, he's provided for his children, and now it's just him and his wife and his adult children. So, you know, in other words, it really puts a strain on the family. And then, so what happens? The man gets a belly full of this stuff. Let's, like I say, I'm a good example. Let's see, just here within the past few months, okay, I've gone out with 2 gals down here, and in the past 2 months, one time was Belize. I said, you want to go to Belize? Oh, I'd love to go to Belize, but they can't. It's the same thing. Their children mean everything to them. Okay, and then the same thing on my Mexican trip. Now, I will admit, I was only planning on going for, you know, 1 or 2 days, and ends up 2 weeks. So, and that's because I didn't realize that there was a fiesta going on. I got there the first day. They still got another week of fiesta going. So, but I say I'm too old to party that much. So, but I say I would have loved to take somebody with me on that. But how can we when their children mean so much to them, you know? So, so that's where I've done figured out if you're 18 to 21, the time when you can really do something with your life, and your family shelters you, it's going to be different. And look, and this is it. Third world country. I'm wondering maybe a third world country is a third world country because their children stay at home. Now down here, if you own a business, your children will run your business. I mean, it's just a given. And why? They have no motivation to learn anything else. Now, even up there in the United States, when we raised our kids, I was waiting to see, are their interests going to be in our business or not? And if it's not, then I got to leave them alone, let them do their own thing. And it wasn't. And I say, we owned restaurants at that time, but I had oil wells, I had all different kinds of businesses. But I say, it just wasn't of their interest. So they went on and pursued other things. So and that's what I'm saying, and the same thing when they grew up, and I say they got married, and then we realized that their married life is going to be their married life. Well, then we decided, well, you know, there's nothing there for us. So then that was one of the reasons that allowed us to move down here. So in other words, in the United States, even though you're at 18, you're expected to provide for yourself, it is a way to motivate people and get things going. And but you have to keep that in mind as a parent. Your job is to prepare your kids to be adults. Down here, they really don't. They're just continually spoiling them really the whole time. I mean, they're, even after they get married and they have children, it's the same thing. They keep them close. They keep them real close. And it's hard to talk about this because I've seen it close in the United States too. But we're right back to what I always say: strong individuals coming together for a common cause. And down here, that statement applies everything except for strong individuals. They are not strong individuals. And that's just the way the system is set up. But I think that's the reason they're not. This is Mike. NoStressMike.com.